Most people believe that having an extremely high IQ is like having a faster engine. They think it just means you are better at math or faster at memorizing facts. But the psychological reality is much stranger and much darker. A truly high-performance brain doesn't just work faster, it perceives a completely different version of reality. If you have ever felt like an outsider looking in, or if your mind feels like a radio constantly tuning into frequencies that others simply cannot hear, you aren't just overthinking. You are likely experiencing the specific, often burdensome cognitive architecture of high intelligence. The first sign is something called perceptual suppression. While most people think high IQ is about noticing everything, the truth, supported by research in the journal Current Biology, is that a highly intelligent brain is actually a master of ignoring. In clinical studies, individuals with high IQs were significantly slower at detecting large, background movements, but hyper-fast at identifying small, relevant objects. This is the psychological why behind your focus. Your brain is so efficient at filtering out white noise that it treats the rest of the world as irrelevant. You aren't being rude or distracted. Your executive function is so specialized that it has physically silenced the background of your life to prioritize the signal. There is also a startling evolutionary trade-off known as the Savannah IQ interaction hypothesis, proposed by psychologist Satoshi Kanazawa. Humans are biologically designed to be diurnal, to sleep when it is dark. Yet there is a consistent correlation between high intelligence and nocturnal behavior. Staying up late is what scientists call an evolutionarily novel behavior. If you find that your brain only truly wakes up when the rest of the world goes quiet, it is because your cognitive drive is powerful enough to override your primitive biological clock. You aren't a night owl by accident. Your brain is literally rebelling against ancestral norms to find the isolation it needs to process complex data. Perhaps the most relatable, dark reality of a high IQ is the social intelligence paradox. Research by Norman Lee and Satoshi Kanazawa, published in the British Journal of Psychology, found a bizarre trend. While most people report higher life satisfaction the more they socialize, highly intelligent individuals actually report lower life satisfaction when they spend frequent time with friends. This isn't because you are antisocial. It is because your internal world and your long-term objectives are so cognitively demanding that frequent, low-depth social interaction feels like a drain on your resources. You don't crave isolation. You crave a level of depth that the average social circle simply cannot provide. Then there is the paradox of questioning. You likely don't feel smart. In fact, you probably feel like an imposter. This is rooted in the Dunning-Kruger effect. While those with lower cognitive ability often overestimate their competence, those at the top of the curve are hyper-aware of the vastness of what they do not know. Your brain is capable of advanced metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. You don't just see a fact, you see the 10 variables that could make that fact wrong. Your self-doubt isn't a sign of weakness, it is a byproduct of your ability to perceive complexity. Finally, we have the need for cognition. For you, curiosity isn't a hobby, it's a physiological requirement. In personality psychology, this is tied to openness to experience. While most people seek mental rest at the end of the day, a high IQ brain seeks cognitive load. If you feel a physical sense of restlessness when you aren't learning or solving a problem, it's because your brain requires a higher level of stimulation just to feel normal. A high IQ isn't a trophy you carry, it is a different operating system that you are forced to run. If you recognized yourself in these traits, understand this. You aren't weird and you aren't broken. You are simply built for a different kind of processing.